Southern California has a reputation built entirely on beaches, freeways, and sunshine. What that reputation skips over is a single county larger than the state of West Virginia, a lake that exists entirely by accident and is now slowly turning toxic, a mountain range rising faster than almost any other on the planet, and a fault line so powerful that the land on one side of it is drifting toward Alaska at 2 inches per year. Southern California is not what it looks like from the highway. These are 22 facts that prove it. Subscribe to Wild States Facts before we start. Fact 1. The San Andreas Fault is the defining geological feature of Southern California, a crack in the Earth's surface where the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate slide past each other in opposite directions. Every mountain range, every valley, every dramatic landscape in the region owes its existence to this fault. The land west of it is moving northwest at roughly 2 inches per year. Given enough time, Los Angeles will sit alongside San Francisco. Fact 2. San Bernardino County covers more than 20,000 square miles, larger than the entire state of West Virginia and larger than the country of Switzerland. It stretches from the edge of the Los Angeles Basin all the way to the borders of Nevada and Arizona, running through snow-capped mountain peaks, the Mojave Desert, and everything in between. It is the largest county by area in the contiguous United States. Fact 3. The San Gabriel Mountains, rising directly above Los Angeles, are among the fastest-growing mountain ranges in the world. Tectonic pressure from the San Andreas system is pushing them upward at several millimeters every year, while erosion tears them down at the same time. They already exceed 10,000 feet. The range is in a permanent race between building itself up and tearing itself down, and neither side is winning. Fact 4. The 1857 Fort Tejon earthquake produced the largest surface rupture in California's recorded history. A crack along the San Andreas Fault stretching more than 200 miles that shifted the ground horizontally by up to 30 feet in some locations. The Kern River temporarily reversed its flow for several miles. The same fault section that ruptured that day has not released comparable energy since. The pressure has been rebuilding for 167 years. Fact 5. The Salton Sea in Imperial and Riverside counties exists entirely by accident. In 1905, the Colorado River breached an irrigation canal and poured its entire flow into the Salton Sink, a desert depression 230 feet below sea level, for 2 straight years. The result was a lake covering over 300 square miles. It has no natural outlet. Every mineral and salt carried in by agricultural runoff has concentrated in the water ever since. Today, the Salton Sea is saltier than the Pacific Ocean and shrinking rapidly, exposing toxic dust from the dry lakebed that affects the health of thousands of nearby residents. Fact 6. The same Salton Sea is simultaneously one of the most important bird migration stops on the entire Pacific Flyway. Millions of birds pass through annually because so much of California's historic wetland habitat has been destroyed. Its environmental collapse and its ecological importance are happening at the exact same time, in the exact same water. Fact 7. The La Brea tar pits in the middle of Los Angeles are an active paleontological excavation site that has produced more than 3 million Ice Age fossils, including saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, giant ground sloths, mastodons, and American lions. Natural asphalt has been seeping from the ground here for tens of thousands of years, forming sticky pools that trapped animals that mistook the surface for solid ground. Predators following prey into the pits got trapped as well. The excavation is still ongoing. New finds still happen regularly. Fact 8. The Channel Islands off the coast of Ventura and Santa Barbara counties are the exposed peaks of the Santa Monica Mountains, cut off from the mainland when sea levels rose at the end of the last ice age. The island fox, found nowhere else on Earth, evolved in complete isolation here. The island scrub jay exists only on Santa Cruz Island. The kelp forests surrounding the islands can grow up to 2 feet in a single day, among the most productive marine ecosystems on the planet. Fact 9. Santa Barbara's coastline runs east to west rather than north to south, the opposite of almost every other stretch of the California coast. This is the result of the transverse ranges, a mountain system that was rotated 90 degrees over millions of years by tectonic forces along the San Andreas system. From certain beaches in Santa Barbara, you can watch the sun rise over the ocean in the morning and set over the land in the evening, the exact opposite of what the California coast normally does. Fact 10. Mount San Jacinto in Riverside County rises nearly 10,000 feet above the Coachella Valley floor over a horizontal distance of roughly 7 miles, one of the most abrupt vertical rises in North America. You can ride the Palm Springs aerial tramway from desert floor to alpine forest in 12 minutes. The temperature difference between the valley and the summit can exceed 40 degrees Fahrenheit on the same afternoon. Fact 11. The Coachella Valley produces more than 95% of all dates grown in the United States. The United States Department of Agriculture imported date palm shoots from the Middle East and North Africa in the early 20th century to test whether they could survive here. They did. The valley's combination of intense summer heat, dry air, and deep aquifers turned out to be nearly identical to growing conditions in Iraq and Algeria. A drive through the groves looks more like a desert oasis in the Sahara than anything that should exist in California. Fact 12. Anza Borrego Desert State Park in San Diego County is the largest state park in California, covering over 600,000 acres. Its terrain includes badlands, palm oases, and slot canyons. Paleontologists have found fossils of mammoths, giant ground sloths, and ancient camels here, proving the desert was once a lush savanna. When rare storms bring enough rain, wildflowers blanket the entire desert floor in one of the largest blooms in the world. Fact 13. The Kelso Dunes in the Mojave National Preserve are a singing dune system. When dry sand avalanches down their steep faces, the grains vibrate at matching frequencies and produce a deep, booming sound audible from miles away. In the right conditions, the vibration can be felt through the ground underfoot. The dunes were built over thousands of years from sand carried in from the dry Mojave River sink and stacked against the surrounding mountains. Fact 14. The Palos Verdes Peninsula in Los Angeles County was once an offshore island, pushed to the surface and connected to the mainland by tectonic uplift. The flat terraces visible on its slopes are ancient seafloors, each raised higher by a successive round of uplift. The entire peninsula is still moving. An active landslide called Portuguese Bend has been creeping toward the ocean for decades, taking roads and houses with it. Fact 15. Point Conception in Santa Barbara County marks the point where the California coastline turns sharply eastward, creating an abrupt boundary between two distinct marine ecosystems. Cold northern Pacific currents meet warmer southern waters here. Sailors have called it the Cape Horn of the Pacific for over a century because of the dangerous winds and swells it reliably generates. The weather on one side of the point is frequently completely different from the weather on the other, within just a few miles. Fact 16. The Algodones Dunes in Imperial County form the largest sand dune system in California, stretching 40 miles along the Mexican border. They were built from wind-blown sediment deposited by ancient Lake Cahuilla, a massive inland lake that once covered much of the Imperial Valley before it evaporated. The dunes are still migrating eastward under prevailing winds, slowly reshaping the desert floor. They have been used as a filming location for desert planet sequences in major films because nothing in the American Southwest looks quite like them. Fact 17. Morro Rock in San Luis Obispo County is a 576-foot volcanic plug, one of 9 ancient volcanic peaks known as the Nine Sisters, aligned across the county for 12 miles. They are the hardened magma cores of volcanoes from roughly 20 million years ago, left standing after the softer surrounding rock eroded away. Morro Rock served as a navigation landmark for Spanish explorers for centuries and is now a protected nesting site for peregrine falcons. Fact 18. Painted Canyon in the Mecca Hills of Riverside County sits directly on the San Andreas Fault System, which crushed and tilted the local rock into chaotic patterns over millions of years. The canyon walls are vivid pink, green, red, and purple from the mineral content of the compressed rock. Because the canyon is deep and enclosed, temperatures inside run up to 20 degrees cooler than the surrounding desert floor, creating a microclimate that makes it feel like a completely different place. Fact 19. The Gaviota Pass in Santa Barbara County is a natural wind tunnel. Dense air masses from the interior valleys are forced through a tight gap in the Santa Ynez Mountains toward the Pacific Ocean, accelerating as they compress. Gusts can reach dangerous speeds with almost no warning and have overturned high-profile vehicles on the highway that passes through. The same corridor was used for centuries before the highway existed by indigenous Chumash communities as one of the only natural passages between the interior valleys and the coast. Fact 20. The Torrey pine, growing only on the coastal bluffs of San Diego County and on Santa Rosa Island, is the rarest pine tree species in North America. Fewer than 3,000 wild trees remain. It is a relic species, a tree that once grew across the entire Southern California coast before the climate shifted and the forest retreated, leaving these two isolated pockets as the only survivors. Fact 21. Devil's Punch Bowl in Los Angeles County is a natural canyon where the rock layers have been pushed completely vertical by pressure from the San Andreas and Punch Bowl faults. Sandstone that was once a horizontal seafloor now stands on its end, exposing walls of tilted ancient rock in a deep bowl-shaped landscape. The fossils embedded in those vertical layers are from the Miocene epoch, when the area sat beneath a shallow sea. Fact 22, and the one that ties the whole region together. Southern California looks stable, sunny, flat in the basins, predictable. What the surface hides is a landscape in violent geological motion, plates grinding past each other, mountains rising faster than erosion can level them, desert dunes migrating across the floor, an accidental inland sea growing saltier every year, and ancient volcanic plugs standing where entire mountains have worn away. The fault beneath Los Angeles has not produced a major rupture since 1857. The energy from that rupture has been rebuilding ever since. Southern California is not resting. It is waiting. That is 22 facts that prove Southern California is running a lot deeper than beaches and freeways. If one of these changed how you see the region, tell us in the comments. We read every single one. And if wild, real geography is your thing, subscribe to Wild States Facts, where I am covering every state, one wild fact at a time. See you in the next one.